Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Today I have bought a new camera, an Insta360 One 360 camera. So today this is going to be the unboxing of it. I'll test it out and I'll post some footage of it later on. So we have got the camera and we have got an Android adapter because I've got a one of these things here. I've got a OnePlus phone, so I purchased the Android adapter. And we have the Insta360 selfie cam as well. So we'll unbox all these and we'll see what it's like. I can't even open it. Okay, so let's start by trying not to scratch the box or anything. Ow. Let's try not to cut myself as well. This is very tightly sealed. Come on! Open! Right, okay. We've got this here. I hope you can see that. We've got different scenarios. So it's got waterproof housing, drone helmet, selfie stick, suction cup base and tripod there. And inside you get the camera. There we go. Here's the camera. It's got this nice little holder here. I assume this that's it. Just comes out like that. So here's the camera. You've got an on button there, it looks like. And what else have you got? You've got is that an SD card there? It looks like an SD card. I can't actually get my nail in there to get this out. Let's just try. Scissors, there you go. So SD card there, and it comes with an 8 gig SD card. That's really good. So I can just start recording immediately if I can actually get this back in. That might be a little bit troublesome. Let's just get the card back in. Come on. And we've got what we've got at the bottom here. We've got something on the bottom. What is this? Oh, okay. So that sticks up there, and so let's open up the Android adapter. It's just too difficult. Come on, open up. I'm trying not to rip the box. Okay, right. We've done it. They really know how to do their packaging. Okay, so here we've got. So you have to pay. I can't remember how much it was. Like 20 something pound, I think it was. But that is the Android adapter version there. So. Okay, so that goes into the phone there, and this goes into, so we put that back in. So that's for the iPhone, so let's put that back in there. Okay. Oh, it switched itself on. What the hell? It switched itself on, okay. Whoa, just nearly spilt my tea. Okay, so you can see the port there. So that goes into that part of the camera, so let's make sure we've got it around the right way. Okay, so that clips on quite nicely, and there we go. Okay, so now we have got a nice mount for the phone. Let's unpack the selfie stick. Okay. Designed for bullet time. Okay, so I guess this unscrews, does it? Oh, okay, there we go. Unscrews and it lengthens up, and do you screw these into, oh, another one there. So I guess, okay, yeah, so you screw these in to keep it at that length there. So let's take this bad boy. I know you're recording and this is going to be terrible in terms of footage, but it's okay. So I guess we can do this swinging around, can't we, for bullet time? And See what that turns out like. Okay. Move these down and we can screw them back in. Okay, yeah, that's good. So it actually maintains that position. So if you screw these left and right, they become locked and unlocked. So you can put the stick at any length and just turn it. And there you go, and it stays in that position. So that's good. Press once for photos, twice for movie, I think, and then 3 times for bullet time. So we will have a look at what that footage looks like. So there you go. That's the 360 camera. We'll see what else we get in the box. We've got a manual here, and find the string and the connector and fasten them onto the bottom of the Insta360 One. Okay, so there's a string somewhere. Is there? It's in here. Whoa. Okay, so what else do we have in the box? It does help if you read the instructions. There's a warranty card. There's a cleaning cloth, a lens cloth there, which is okay. Look like a sponge then, but it's not a sponge. And then we've got the instruction manual as well, quick start guide. Okay, let's put that back in the box. We have this box here which drops out, and this is the USB adapter to charge it with. Okay, great. And aha, here's the string inside of the charging box. So take out the string, and now this, I believe this is quite important, because this is, if we can get it out of the box, here it is, it's a little string there, and this is the dude which connects into the bottom of the camera here, where you would usually screw it to the stick. And if we turn it off, turn that dude off and press it 3 times. No, off. Okay, press it 3 times. Okay, so now what we can do is swing this around like that for what's called bullet time. So that slows it down to 120 FPS, and we can use the string to off. Okay, so we can use the string to swing it round and round, and there's it should be looped here. Okay, so we use a fisherman's loop. So simple loop there. So we push that through there like that, put your hand through there, pull it, and then it locks, so you can basically swing it around. But it looks like I'm getting mine in a bit of a knot here, so let's just sort that out. Instructions here. I think one other thing you need to do is you need to download the Insta360 app to configure the device. There's an instruction manual there, but to be honest with you, who reads the instruction manual? So we'll attempt to do that. So anyway, that's the 360 camera. We got a little bit of footage, but I haven't configured the. Right, so how do we configure this? So let's have a look for Insta360 app. Insta360 install. Okay. So there's an Insta360 One app. Download a large app. This app is very large. It doesn't matter because I have a Wi-Fi. Excuse me, just drinking tea. Okay, so we open the app, and it says allow Insta360 to access my photos. So it wants to manage my phone calls as well. Okay. Don't know why it wants to do that. Insta360 One app. Okay, follow featured recent settings. Let's go to settings. One camera. Okay, camera mode. Okay, gyro calibration. More camera settings after connecting one. Gyro calibration, waterproof, gyro calibration. start. Unplug one from your phone, turn on the Bluetooth of your phone. Please put the camera vertically as shown in the diagram. Vertically as shown in the diagram. Okay, camera's on. Next. Allow it to access my location. Please select the device, Insta360 One, bleep. Gyro calibrating. Please keep the camera still and do not exit the app. So we get this on here like so. Gyro calibration completed. That was pretty fast. Just going to sign up. Just signing up. Please switch to Android mode first. Switch now. Switching to Android modes. Switch to Android. Yes, please. Confirm. Yes. Please connect the camera in shooting page. Confirm. Beep. Okay, after a little bit of testing with the camera that I've got here, so generally the camera's okay. Take a picture, it's pretty easy, and taking video is pretty easy, and taking 120 frames a second as well, that's pretty easy. But there's a few things that you need to know if you're using Android to manage and control this camera. I can't speak for the iPhone because I don't have an iPhone, but there's a couple of things you need to know if you've got an Android phone. So the first thing is the adapter, which we've already gone through. So this thing here, you need this adapter to connect to your Android phone. The second thing is you need to calibrate this camera, and there are a couple of applications that you need to download on your phone to do this. The first one is the Insta360 One app. So this is the Insta360 One app that I've got on my phone here, and you can see that it's it's a pretty standard application. It has feeds from the internet. You can explore your own album, and you can go to the top and you can choose which folder, and you can go to settings here, and then in the settings, once you've configured the camera for gyro calibration, you can actually go into the controls here on your phone, and you can connect to the phone via Bluetooth, and then you can control the exposure and the taking pictures and taking photos and everything from within the application on your phone. That means you don't have to reach up to go and press the button on the phone, on the camera all the time. However, there's one thing which I think could be better with the camera and the applications. There's no seamless integration from the point of where you record the video on your phone on the camera to actually editing and playing it. So as well as the Insta1 application, there's also an Insta360 player. So there's a player that you can install as a separate application to browse those locations on the SD card here. However, you need to transfer the videos and the photos from the SD card here into a folder on the root of your SD card on your Android phone, and in the roots there needs to be a folder called Insta360 Player, and sorry, I think it's called Insta360, not Insta360 Player. And if you install the Insta360 Player, it automatically creates it for you, but what it doesn't do, even if you've got it connected up, it doesn't transfer those files from the SD card on the camera into the phone folder there. So what you have to do is manually transfer those files within the root folder of your phone if you're editing on the phone. The other thing you can do, if you're using a Windows or an Apple machine, you can search for Insta360 Player, and you can download it on a Windows machine, or you can search for Insta360 Studio, and Insta360 Studio enables you to edit and control the videos that you have transferred from the SD card to your computer. And then you can open those up on Insta360 Studio, and you can set timeline kind of pivot points for it to scroll around and to zoom in and out and have different views of the camera. And that's how the editing of this application works. However, if you've also got the files on your phone and you've been able to transfer those successfully, what you can do is you can actually browse to the files here on your phone, and the applications will actually talk you through like a setup of configuring like different pivot points for the camera and follow points and how to do this, which is good. And the phone application actually will do some of that for you. But in terms of things like the 120 frames a second, and if you need to edit lots of points in the video and you want to apply different filters to the video and you want to cut things out, overlay sound or whatever, then I'd recommend exporting this to an external application. You can do some of the things within the Insta360 Studio, but if you want to do anything more advanced, then that requires another application. So if this is your first time getting a camera, which is 360, and I doubt very much it won't be your first camera you've ever bought, a little bit of experience around video editing will help you there. But in general, the quality of the camera is very good. The 120 frames a second is great. You can export that video either half, a quarter, or an eighth of the speed, so you get like slow motion there. And the 4K quality is good as well. There's no problem really. It does talk you through like how to configure this and that, and specifically with the 120 frames a second video, when you're swinging it around on this thing, obviously the camera's spinning around here, there and everywhere, and when you export that video from the 120 frames a second section, after you've imported it into the Insta360 Studio, the gyro calibration works out kind of where you are standing, and it will focus on that central point as it's swinging around. So it calculates all that as it's exporting, so that's quite good. The only thing I will say about it is you've got limited capability on the 120 frames a second video to set pivot points. It just doesn't allow you to do it, whereas standard video, it does allow you to do all that. So I've done a couple of videos which I'll show you now, and I'll just talk very quickly through the applications on Windows computer, assuming you're running Windows and you've got an Android phone. Okay, so here is the Windows computer, and we'll show you the videos. So there's a couple of videos that I've imported from the SD card here, and I've put them onto the computer. So we're going to choose this one here, which is just a normal video I recorded in my garden. So I've installed both the Insta360 player and the Insta360 Studio here. So if we go to open with, I've got Insta360 player there, and I have got Insta360 Studio here. So what I've done, I've defaulted this to Insta360 player. So if we play this video, this is what we get. So this is me in the garden, and I'm messing around with the camera, and you can see the different pivot points that we've got up here, and we can basically turn that video around and round and round and round. Okay, so there's that. So that's the player, and you can't really edit anything there, but you can view the video. Now what we want to do, we want to edit this in Insta360 Studio. So let's go to open with Insta360 Studio, and once we've loaded that up, here we go. I'll just minimize this so we can see it. Okay, so there we go. We've got the same video, and we can do the same like scrolling around and everything. However, what you can do here is you can start editing the video. So we go to free capture mode up here. It gives us a reminder about gyroscope, blah blah blah, so we just confirm that. And what we can do here is we can start setting points on the video where we can basically set like a point to start from and a point to scroll to. So let's just restore that. Okay, fine. So what we've got here, what I've set before are these here. So we've got all these different pivot points that you see in the video, and you'll notice as I play the video here, these points scroll to different sections like this that I've configured on the video, and we can set kind of the mode it's in, zoom in and zoom out. So that is what we get. So let's just go through that and just see how we get to that result. So let's just delete all these points here. I suppose I could have started again from scratch, but you know. Right, okay, so This is me looking in particularly confused there. So what we have is, by default, I'm going to basically click on my face, and that's where I'm going to start from. So if you play the video, it's always going to stay at that point, and you'll see in the top right here, that is where that point is, and it's never going to deviate from that if I leave it like that. Although I'm moving the camera, it will still stay on that central point. And maybe I want to move it to this side, for example, and I want to move it there. Or maybe I want to move it over here, like that. I'm not necessarily bothered about focusing on me. So we can do that in the video. So first thing we need to do, we need to set the beginning and the end of the video. So we do that by moving these sliders here, or we can click on these points. So we move the slider here, and we can click on this point here. So that sets that beginning of the video, and here we can set, say, the end of the video there, like that. So we've done that. The second thing we need to do is we need to decide the point where we want to start changing the focus. So we'll keep this focused on my face for the time being, and what we will do is we'll start changing where it focuses on from this point here. Now once we've decided we want to change that, so maybe I want to spin it around here. So we press this button here, and that brings up this property window on the left hand side, and it gives us all the parameters there, and that is basically a point that we're going to start from changing the angle of view within this video. So if we just play that now, you'll notice there's no difference there at all. I haven't actually done anything, but what we do is we configure, so that's our first point. So what we do, we configure a second point, and on this second point we decide where we're going to view this second point. So let's say we want to scroll up in the sky, for example, up there, and then we press another one of those, and we can see this timeline here, this line that's been entered, and we click that, and there's another special effects here, and we can basically choose the kind of the fade of that view. So if we view this video now, we'll notice that the camera is actually pivoted round. So let's start again. So there we go, it's actually changed its direction. And we don't want it to do that, so that's messed up. So what we do now is we focus on this point here and make sure that is in the central point to start with, and then when it gets to this point here, we make sure it gets to that point there, which is where we want it to end up at. So let's just try that again. It looks like it didn't say the point. Okay, so there we go. So it's actually moved around there. The starting position I've got here is like in there, so we want the starting position to be here. So, and then it moves over. Okay, so I know that's not perfect, but at least you get an idea there what it does. So what we can do then, we've got another position which we can set. So say we want to focus on the conservatory, maybe we set another position there. So again, what it will do is it will fade in again. So we start this off here. It's our starting position, and you'll notice that the concentration is on the conservatory now because that's what we've changed it to. And we just have a look at that video from the starting position again. And there we go. We want to basically make sure that this point here goes to that section there, and this point here goes to the conservatory, and this point here starts on my face. So garden, conservatory, and then he stays on the conservatory all the way through. Now if we wanted to set an angle like this, for example, so an angle like that, and we wanted to set like a different view of the camera, we can do that by changing these frame parameters here. So let's put another frame in here, and now what we've got is this one here, but what we can do is click on these here. So we've got a perspective view, we've got a tiny planet view, and we've got a globe view. I think that one is. If it will give me a mouse over indicator, no it's not, and this is a default view I think. So maybe we want to change this to a tiny planet view. So we click on that and we get this tiny planet view there, and that has changed quite severely the way that the view that we've got there. So we have a look at that and see what happens. There we go, it zooms out to tiny planet. Okay, so maybe, and we're happy with that, so maybe we want a little bit of tiny planet, and maybe we would just want to view back into the normal scene again. So we configure another frame there, and we change this to the default view, and we view that transition effect again. There we go, it goes back into the default view, and there we go, we're happy, and then we can change the frame to focus on different things. So that's basically how you go and configure the frames here and set these views. So what you can do after you've done that is click on export to, and then that exports to a folder. So here's one I did earlier. I actually put this through Power Director, so I'm in Power Director as well, just to do it. Put some text on, put a bit of music on there, and that is the 120 frames a second. I will say the 120 frames a second does require some pretty decent CPU processing and GPU processing when it's exporting that video. However, once it's done, you do have the ability just to view this video like so, but I can't set any frame or pivot points in here at all. So what I would advise if you're doing 120 frames a second recording is make sure the positioning and the scenario and the frame is exactly as it is when you're going to record. The lighting is perfect because you have limited capability to kind of manipulate this recording, and I'll just show you that here now. So I've got a 120 frames a second recording here, I believe, so I'm going to open this up with 360 Studio, and here we go. We get this error message here, which is does not support preview of 120 video. Please export to view. Once you've exported it, obviously you don't have the ability to do anything within this application. You can see you can't click on anything here. The video resolution is what it is there, and that's it. So there's limited things you can do with this video. Now, once you have exported the video, we get these video exports here, and I've exported it with 100 and I think it was a 1/8 speed. No, this one was 1/4 speed, sorry. So this is a 1/4 speed video here, and that is what we get. And once we import that back in, you can't really control it. So that's what you need to consider when you are using the Studio application. The Studio application is something you need to download and use to configure and set up these videos. There's different settings here that you can kind of use here on the application to get your videos out there, but generally this is what you need to use if you are using and copying these videos to your computer to do video processing. So that is it for the Insta360 One complete setup of Android. I hope this has helped. And if you've got any questions, just reply in the comments below. But thanks for watching and have a great day.